authorizes the financing. This type of bond issue, unlike some others that you've seen, like the building authority, there's no notices or referendum rights. This is the one action item. So this authorizes the bonds to be issued, and then it delegates to the mayor and the CFO to actually go forward and sell the bonds. And Mike can talk a little bit about the sale of the bonds and interest rates in a moment. It's the only action item by the council for the bonds. I believe what the mayor was saying, though, is that they would come back to the council to approve the projects, and then we would go ahead with the sale of the bonds. And we have some flexibility on the timing of that. So, but this actually is the only action item we need, which then allows us to get the bonds ready for sale. So with this resolution, we can prepare the preliminary official statement, make applications to rating agencies, get everything teed up so that when a cost of the project and the city is ready to proceed with the issuance of the bonds, we can put those steps in motion to go into the market to sell the bonds. So Mike can talk a little bit maybe about sort of the interest rate side of that, but that's to distinguish between this approves the bonds. What the mayor, I think, was just referring to was that he would come back to talk to you about the project.
Just one question. What if it's more than $24 million?
So this only allows you to borrow up to $24 million. I think the number that we had was somewhere in the 23 range. You cannot exceed, the city cannot borrow more than $24 million unless it comes back to the council to approve a higher amount. So if the projects come in at 26, 27, you know, something, this doesn't allow going more than 24. Either things get scaled back, other funds are available, or
Okay.
they have to come back to council.
And that'll be part of the next step when you bring it back to us.
Right.
If it's more than 24, what we would do is a contingency above that.
We have to amend the resolution.
Yeah.
For example, I mentioned there are some traffic signals in there. We believe they're needed, but if the project comes in too close to budget or over budget, those would be the first things that we would consider peeling out, because I don't think they're needed as much as the roads are needed. So they're more of a want than a need, but I think they would be a huge benefit. But if it gets to that point, that would be something we would consider not doing.
Councilman Ramik, what you have?
Just a quick question on the bonds. Who decides who we go through for bonds?
Mike, do you want to answer that?
Mr. Chairman, City Council, I'm Mike Gormley with Northland Securities. Appreciate the opportunity to speak to you tonight. We structured these numbers, Northland Security did, working with Jason and the mayor. Right now the resolution is set up where there would be Northland Securities would take the city into the market and sell the bonds on a negotiated basis. We're anticipating sometime potentially in February with a March closing for spring construction. That obviously can move as Pat McGowan has said. And historically, the city has done negotiated sales, meaning that they select their underwriter up front. And then what we do on the day of pricing, which I think is the most important day, and I've recommended this to Jason on all the bond issues that we've done together, is to have a pricing advisor, an independent firm sit in his corner looking at the interest rates that our underwriters are seeing in the markets from bond investors, and making sure that the city's getting a fair handshake. That's the biggest thing, is locking in interest rates. And I will tell you, right now we're at an all-time low, and right now, based upon these numbers over 15 years, 24 million, we're looking at roughly about a 2% interest rate all in.
The issue, so you're representing us as what?
The underwriter.
The underwriter?
Yes.
And you're hired by the city?
Yes.
Okay. So it's your job to go out and get us the best rates?
Exactly.
If I did have a question. So this bond is just for the Goddard and Pardee roads, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So instead of doing the Goddard and Pardee, could we have the bond, and I'm not saying we are going to or we're not going to, but couldn't we have that to fix the other roads? I mean, not everyone drives Goddard and Pardee. You know, there's a lot of, like you mentioned, there's a lot of streets and roads within the city that are definitely in need. And if we do this, then we're not going to have money to do those.
Mr. Chairman, I suppose to answer your question, yes, you could, but at what point, you have to draw the line somewhere, and so we have the data that proves to us that these roads are not going to last more than 3 years. So we prioritized these 3 roads. The bond debt that was previously issued has fallen off, so just the kind of dollar for dollar replacement, our thought was, let's get these roads repaired as quickly as possible. Keep in mind, I mean, by the time this thing goes out to bid, the bids are awarded, the bonds are issued, and construction starts, we're probably looking at 2 summers. I don't think that just purely from traffic control and not disrupting the entire city that I'm not sure that they can get this work done in one summer. It might carry over into another year. And again, looking at the major roads throughout the city, our major roads are in really good shape, considering, you know, that all the work we've done leading up to this. It's more of the local roads that I think gives us the bigger problems. Yes, you could consider borrowing more money, but based on all the financial analysis we've looked at, we felt that this is the priority of getting these 2 roads done.
Councilman Johnson?
I've been asked this question, how much is it gonna raise the property taxes?
0.0.
So how much of our property taxes go for the roads?
I'll let the financial experts answer that, but 0.0.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to get it out there. A lot of people think that our property taxes go for the roads. And if I'm not mistaken, we've done a lot of local roads. This council approved a lot of them in
We
the
have.
last 7 years.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of them.
Strategically, we knew this day was coming. We knew that Goddard Party was likely near the end of life. We knew the bond debt was going to expire. We attempted to try to get as much done as we possibly could. But I will admit, we fell short this summer. Not we per se, just we had a lot of trouble with getting contractors out here as a whole. And there were sections of the city that did not get done that will likely end up, getting done hopefully in the spring. So there are still plenty of road work, that's teed up, that's budgeted, that's ready to go. But it'll likely, have to wait, based on the weather. The other thing we didn't want to do, we pulled the plug. We took a conservative approach to road construction this year. We did not want to take a chance on doing a bunch of work like we did last year late in the year and have parts of the neighborhoods ripped up. If you all remember the Beach Daily fiasco that we all fielded plenty of phone calls. We didn't want to have that happen. We don't know when we're going to get 10 inches of snow in Michigan. When you get into November, it just becomes risky, so we did stop premature this year.
Councilman Ramik?
Yes, possibly, Jason, how much money with the bonds that are coming to an end? We have what? Did you say a couple of bonds that are coming to an end on the roads?
They ended already.
Okay. How much money are we saving from those coming to an end?
Jason, did you?
Chair, I didn't hear that question good enough. What was the question again, please?
So how much money are we, the bonds that just ended, how much are we saving from that now that they're gone?
Through the chair, I don't have that an answer. I can tell you that the summary that I provided, I'm looking at, that the bond payments were roughly $425,000 in bond payments that we paid in fiscal year 19. But I'm not sure if that's the full amount. That might be a one portion of the payment because it could have been a one-time or it could have been a half payment for fiscal year 19 because that's when the bonds expired. I'll have to do some digging. But I can tell you that for fiscal year 19, we paid $425,000 for the debt service. But I think that annual debt service was a little more than that, maybe twice that amount. But I'm not 100% on that. I have to do some digging on that.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if, I think Councilwoman Croft had mentioned something about the materials. I don't know if you wanted Alan to specifically talk about the materials that are in the engineered estimates.
I don't recall it.
Or maybe it was,
I knew it was, yeah.
I apologize. I don't know if you want, if it's okay, maybe if Alan can just give us an overview.
Sure.
I know he talked about the depth, the depth of concrete, the depth of asphalt. Again, they would need to finalize all of this, but Alan, do you mind just giving kind of an overview?
Yeah, so basically, like I said, we're gonna preserve the existing concrete, joint seal it, repair the cracks, And then we're gonna come in with a 2-inch crack relief layer. They've been using that on Michigan highways and freeways with success, and they've tested it. The Asphalt Institute has come out with this 2-inch, it's to control reflective cracking. And on top of that, it'll be another 2 inches of highway mix design. It's called 4E10, and that's the base mix. And then on top of that is the 5E10, that's 1.5 inches. And these are all strong highway mixes that have been proven.
Is there a warranty on this?
Is there a warranty?
Yeah, what happens if we have the road a year and it starts coming apart?
Yeah, that's, it's built into the contract,
We
the
know how long
contract
it's good for?
specifications. I believe the standard contract is, I think 2 years, and then, they're responsible to remove and replace anything that's broken in 2 years. That's a